And welcome back to Public Counsel's Giving Tuesday's Facebook Live session. Thank you for tuning in. It's 4:30 as promised. We have our last session today regarding our social work practice within Public Counsel. And I'm David Bubis. I'm Director of Philanthropy. It's my pleasure at this point to introduce to you Mara Ziegler. Mara is our senior social worker in children's rights, and she's actually the first social worker to be hired by Public Counsel, and she'll talk about that in a second. So Mara, tell us a little bit. I saw a little bit of your thunder. Tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to Public Counsel.
Thank you, David. Well, after getting my master's in social work, I worked being a child therapist in a community-based agency for about 6 or 7 years. And what happened was my clinical training took a backseat to the training I was getting in societal inequities and especially in the inequities within the system. Fortunately, at that point, I heard this little place, Public Counsel, this small nonprofit, was thinking of creating a child advocacy project which was going to combine social work with legal advocacy to help out vulnerable children, youth, families in our community. I looked into it, and then the rest, as they say, is history.
Okay, and I'm going to ask, how many years ago was that?
That was 29 years ago.
There you go.
And I was 3 when I started.
Exactly. Everybody knows that. You were a child prodigy.
There you go.
So one of the unique features of Public Counsel is that we do have social workers on staff. And there is this interplay between the law and social work. And could you expound on that a little bit and how that plays a role in our work and how we serve our clients?
Sure. So it was starting back in 1989 where the Children's Rights Project was me and the directing attorney at the time. And we built this project from the two of us to now there are 24 attorneys, social workers, support staff, a great team where we provide what we like to call holistic advocacy to our clients and to the community organizations we support so that our clients get the benefit of really multidisciplinary advocacy. And what's good about multidisciplinary advocacy, you might ask?
Yes. I just asked.
Okay. Well, a lot of things. First of all, as social workers, we have a unique part of our training where we are taught to consider an individual's context when we're trying to figure out what's going on with them, what's their situation, why are they having a challenge, and how best to address that challenge. And so we do this kind of wide lens assessment when clients come to us and help our attorneys not only be able to deal with clients in crisis, we help them understand how do you do that, but we allow our pro bono lawyers to focus on their legal work while the social workers here focus on stabilizing the lives of our clients so that the legal work will have the best outcomes and lasting impact.
So those two disciplines really dovetail all in the benefit of our clients.
We like to think so.
Absolutely. I'm just going to parenthetically say, because I know you wouldn't, that you also teach social work at the University of Southern California School of Social Work. So I just thought I'd throw that in there, and I know that's another proud connection for both you and Public Counsel.
Thank you.
Just demonstrating the quality of our great staff here at Public Counsel, and you in particular.
Well, thank you for that plug.
Absolutely. It's my alma mater, so I just have to do that. Okay, so you have 2 guests today who are our clients, have been clients of yours, I should say, and they have great stories to tell about their experiences here at Public Counsel. So would you mind introducing them, and then we'll go from there?
It's my absolute pleasure. I just wanted to say that one of the other things that I feel honored to do as a social worker here is assist resilient young people. I work specifically on our transition age youth team within the Children's Rights Project, and I have the pleasure of connecting with young people when life is throwing a lot of challenges in their way, and I can see their strength and their potential And I can partner, as I just said, with attorneys to address not only civil legal issues that might derail them from achieving their life goals and remaining housed and educated, but I can encourage the attorneys to work with clients, like the two you're going to hear from in a moment, in a way that respects their history of trauma and challenge and avoids re-traumatizing them. So it's just a thrill for me to have two of my most rock star clients sitting next to me right now. I'll start with Alexis. She came to us, as she'll tell you, when she was a minor, a teenager, and really figuring life out on her own. She had recently been sent to live with family in Texas who, it turned out, didn't enroll her in school. She worked she found a job and got herself a ticket on her own dollar back to LA and found us. And Alexis, I'd like to now just let you tell your story. I'll interview you a little bit.
Okay.
So, how old were you when you first came to Public Counsel?
If I remember correctly, I was 16 going on 17. I think I turned 16 in March, and I think I came to Public Counsel for help in April or May. So I just turned 17.
Okay, and the first issue, the most pressing issue when you came, what brought you to us at first?
So I really needed to get enrolled back into school. As you mentioned earlier, I had a social worker just do some paperwork and send me to live with some relatives in Texas that were distant and didn't try very hard to put me into school. And so when I came back on my own, I believe the term is an unaccompanied minor. And so I didn't have anybody to enroll me in school or to take me to the doctor. And I was kind of just out here on my own, trying to get through life. And I was at an adult school because they didn't require a legal guardian to enroll me in school. So as long as I filled out my schoolwork, they would take the credit. And I found a pamphlet there at the adult school in North Valley Occupational Center, and I was like, well, let me give it a try and see if they can help me out. I might as well shoot my shot and see.
And when you contacted us, were you nervous? What did you expect would happen when you contacted us?
I had no idea what the process was gonna be like. I was a little, I think the word is skeptical, like whether or not you guys are gonna help me out. A little maybe nervous of could this backfire because I heard that you're a social worker, and the last social worker that I had interacted with like kind of messed up my life, so I wasn't sure how it was going to work out, but I figured, no harm in trying.
And so you started skeptical. How did your actual experience turn out here?
So I remember this day so clearly. So I took the metro, I came, I was in the, we went to your office, the intern that had helped me do my intake sat with you, and you listened to my whole story, and you just made me feel really like safe and validated. And I remember I remember walking to the metro station and not to be like super cheesy, but just feeling so hopeful, like, okay, like I'm motivated, like this lady has so much great energy, she knows what she's doing, she's confident, like you made me feel so confident in like the ability that everything was going to work out. You're like, don't worry, you're going to get you emancipated and you're going to get into school by your senior year. And it was, like I said, April, May, and I had to get enrolled in school by like August. So like, okay, I don't know how I'm going to transform my life in 3 months, but hey, let's do
let's
it.
Make it happen. So can you talk a little bit about the legal assistance Public Counsel obtained for you?
Yeah, so we kind of went through, I think it was like a questionnaire of like, do I meet the criteria to be an emancipated minor? As far as like living on my own and having a job, I was like in and out. The reason why I wanted to get emancipated, which was to enroll myself in school and sign a lease so I can move closer to school, because I was kind of crashing and living here and there in the valley, and the high school I wanted to get back to was in West LA. So it was important for me to relocate, and I couldn't do that without being able to sign a lease. So you guys got me 3 attorneys, not 1, not 2, but 3 attorneys from Paul Hastings, a really great law firm. And matter of fact, I still keep in touch with with a couple of my attorneys still. And yeah, you guys got me 3 attorneys, and 3 months later I was emancipated.
It was so exciting. It still is. And can you talk about what kind of social work support I gave you and our interactions?
Yeah, so and I think this is like why I really appreciate this conversation, is because we're talking about how important it is for social work to be integrated, right, with the legal advocacy, because I'm not just a person in need of an attorney. Like, I also had housing issues and like not so many great relationships with adults in my life, and you helped me get a mentor, and you made sure that I had somebody to talk to and go to for health insurance, and just navigating like all these different parts of my life. You were able to help me out and refer me to other folks and just kind of widen my support system. And I still keep in contact with all the people that you introduced me to. They're all part of my village, so to speak.
And you're stuck with me forever, too.
I know, I love it.
So all of this help that you got, the integrated holistic help we're talking about, besides solving your immediate problem of needing to be able to make your own legal decisions, sign leases, and get in school, how did it change your life with the risk of sounding cheesy?
Oh my God. Okay, how did you change my life? How did you not change my life? I mean, if it wasn't for Public Counsel intervening when they did, I may have not gotten into my high school, not have graduated on time, not have been at a school where I could take my SATs, apply for colleges, and after my senior year, I went to UC Irvine, and I don't think any of that would have happened if I didn't get the help that I needed when I needed it.
Well, as we've discussed, I think you would have found your way, but it might still be taking
a
you
longer and harder road, for sure.
And harder, and maybe with some bumps in the way.
A lot.
And your life now, what you're up to? You've graduated Irvine.
Yes, I did.
And what you want to do next, and kind of your dreams for your future.
Sure. I'm 25, so I hate, like, what are you doing with your life question? But it's really funny because it comes full circle for me. So when I was 16, 17 years old and, getting involved with these organizations, they put me on youth councils, and I was able to at such an early age, start turning around and getting invested, like, in this similar work. So it was really here, like, at Public Counsel and some of the places that you had referred me to, that I really kind of discovered my life purpose and my life passion, which is to, utilize these experiences. Unfortunately, during the time, they might not have been so easy to navigate, but, it's just, it's a unique tool that I have under my belt now that I feel like I can really utilize to help other folks, right? And so I'm actually pursuing... I'm studying for my LSATs, but I'm trying to go to law school. You guys inspired me, and I want to be an attorney and, utilize my skills and my gifts, because I feel like we all have, given gifts that we're supposed to share with others and utilize to serve our purpose and our passion. And I feel, thanks to you guys, you not only helped me, but also set me on, like, inspired me to depart on my, like, life path and serve my purpose. And
I'll never stop being inspired by you and listening to you, and grateful to you for what you brought to my life and for always saying yes, for doing things like this. Thank you. And I can't wait till we assign you to be a pro bono for one of our clients.
That's the goal. Full circle.
Full circle.
That's great. That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexis. Now move on. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to introduce Yanni Bridges, who I've also known, we realized, for a good 8 to 10 years. I focus a lot of my work on young parents, and we met when Yanni was pregnant at a meeting that DCFS, that's Children's Services, holds for young parents in care. They have these conferences where they bring the young person's village together, and someone like me who's called a teen parent resource specialist. And we kind of help identify needs, goals, and fill in gaps. And so I would like to now let you tell your story, because people just saw how my clients are the best tellers of their own stories, and sort of ask you some of the similar questions. Mm-hmm. So, Yanni, how old were you when you first came into contact with us?
I was 17 years old close to emancipation, about
Close.
like 5 months.
And what were the big issues or main issue when I first had the pleasure of meeting you?
Well, ultimately, I feel like I was facing homelessness. That was the largest issue, and I was about to be a parent. I was currently I was placed in a group home for teen parents in Los Angeles, and I was attending a school by contract with this group home that was not accredited, and I wanted to pursue my GED, which they kind of pressured me and made me feel like I couldn't do that, and I was frustrated. I was very frustrated, actually. They were also, because I had a history with the juvenile justice system as well as the mental health system, they were trying to take my daughter away from me or they were considering taking my daughter away from me prior to me even giving birth, so they weren't willing to give me a chance. So I was actually in a pretty high level or state of stress when I was introduced to public counsel.
And so, given the state you were in, I'm going to ask the same question I asked a minute ago. Were you scared? What were your expectations when we met? Like, how did you feel about another social worker or this meeting? Or?
I feel like we met in the conference, but I felt like at that time it was too many people at the table. Mm-hmm. However, when you called me, I remember receiving a missed call from you and calling you back like, okay, you're a social worker? Like, a social worker, another one, and I was fed up because I went from, hearing one person or the same social worker saying, or from another social worker who said that I wouldn't have been admitted into DCFS had I not been pregnant because I was too old, even though I was homeless. And then you go, and I'm going through these issues with this group home, and they're trying to take my child away, and I haven't even had a chance, and I'm already stressed out. So I hear social worker, and my first thing was like, no, what do you want? That was my response. And
I'm not talking.
She was like, no. She very calmly was like, no, I'm here to help you. I'm on your side. And that actually, I remember that, and that made me feel like safe. It made me feel safe.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so meaningful to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and keep asking you questions and not tear up.
Okay.
So you started out going like trouble again, but then some miraculous way we connected. Mm-hmm. You felt a little bit safe, and talk about how it felt at the end of your time with us, your actual experience, like how that was in reality, how it turned out for you.
Well, I'm here. I'm very much here, and I light up every time I see public counsel because I know that it's not honestly, if I can just be honest, I think it's more like Mara feels more like family to me. It really feels like that. It doesn't feel like, and that's another thing I wrote down, but when I say like the difference between this and another program is that I think Alexis and I can both say that we didn't feel like clients. Like it was someone who saw the humanity or saw a human and a young person who really needed something and gave us that. And that is what has us here.
No, we can do this.
That's why we're here. That's why we're still, and I'm
10
not
years
even
later.
a client anymore. And I'm like,
yes, we'll come.
And I'm still.
Wow.
Wow.
It's not typical of me to not have words, but you're challenging me here. So do you remember? I know we did a lot of work together, different services. Do you remember what the various pro bonos I connected you to helped you with?
I don't remember the names of the lawyers or anything. However, I do remember. I felt like. Public counsel was a solution to all my problems. There are some things that Mara couldn't do, but for the most part, I called her for everything. Specifically, though, services to help me transition out of the child welfare system, and also help with educational services, childcare services, public benefits as well, benefits and Medi-Cal. Mara has been here. If there's something that I qualify for, if it's a scholarship, she sends me an email about it. And it has been that way even recently. I'm 9 years into the program, or collaboration with
Yes.
Public Counsel. I called recently to get help with my daughter and her education situation. Everything. But not only that, I feel like on top of that, which is what makes you stand out, is that, I remember being emancipated or having an apartment that you helped me get through First Place for Youth. And I didn't have any furniture. I didn't have anything. And you knew that I was in a very desperate situation. And your friend gave me a crib for my daughter. And you gave me a plant, my first plant for my apartment. And those are things that's not in your, that wasn't in your job description. And those are the things that I needed I needed that at the moment. And you were there, so.
Above and beyond.
Above
Real
and
love.
beyond.
It's I know it sounds cliche, but I hope you both know I mean it when I say I get more than I give. Honestly. And can you dazzle the people who are live right now and tell them about all you've accomplished and all you hope to still accomplish?
Yes, well, I am first and foremost, I'm a single mother. I'm very proud of that. I'm raising a beautiful, compassionate little advocate herself. I'm very proud of her. I have, like Alexis, been involved with about 8 or more nonprofits around the city, involved in reforming child welfare, juvenile justice, criminal justice, even mental health. And right now I'm taking the time to create and build my own, because I had a vision for something that I want to see, like this holistic social work and law collaborative or legal collaborative situation that you have here at Public Counsel. I want something for the community that helps whole families as well. So I've been spending a lot of time building out that while advocating.
And I know you are both going to make those dreams come true. And my final question, you can decide who goes first. I know you said something really meaningful to me when we were getting ready to go live, and you said that one thing you appreciated in having a social worker along with your attorneys is that I made it understandable to teens, and I was kind of a translator.
Absolutely.
And so for any young people listening out there, or anybody supporting people, young people who are where you were when we first met, what would you tell your younger self now? What do you wish you knew then that you now know?
Do you want to go first?
Go ahead.
You can go first.
Okay. Well, one thing that was said to me when I was introduced to the Public Counsel was that I was a great self-advocate, and I advocated for myself very well, and I would become a great advocate, and that came out of her mouth. And I think that it's just speak up for what you feel is right. When it doesn't feel right, trust that instinct, and find someone you trust, and tell them and ask for help whenever you need it. Beautiful. Even if they say no. Even if they say no, find someone else or find another door to knock on.
Beautiful. Alexis?
You took the words right out of my mouth. That's literally my quote is, closed mouths do not get fed. And there really are people out here that are willing to help and that are able to help, despite maybe personal experiences like mine, where a lot of folks that I was supposed to be able to depend on, I couldn't, and they let me down. And so I was kind of giving up on letting people help me. And even since I came into contact with you all, I've had to relearn how to trust and depend and receive help. And I still struggle with it now sometimes because I like to be so independent. But, that it's okay to ask for help. And, we don't have to be perfect to receive love and support. Absolutely. And we don't have to do it on our own. And we're not supposed to do it on our own. And
Well, I want to thank you both because of you, I think people know why we're asking for help on Giving Tuesday for Public Counsel, and it's an honor, and I can't wait to see where you go next. Thank you for always showing up and for being here today.
Thank you guys very much. So I'm going to close by just saying this was a great sort of panel discussion here about how Public Counsel really looks at the whole person, all our clients' needs. and they're varied, and they're many, and no one person, no two people are alike. No two people's needs are alike, and it's really a tribute. I think really it's a tribute first and foremost to the two of you for pushing yourselves as far as you have, but also to you, Mara, and your team for really being great listeners and advocates. And that's really at the core of what social work is about.
Yeah,
good listening and good advocacy. And these are two, I'm sure, of many, many, many people that you have touched and helped. And it's great. And we're very proud of your work.
29 years.
Right.
29 years, not too shabby. So let me end by saying, if you've been moved and you're interested in our work based on what you've heard in the last 20 minutes or so, please hit that donate button at the bottom of your Facebook page. Make that donation in support of this type of work at Public Counsel. The really great thing I could say is every single dollar is appreciated, no matter what the size of the donation. We have a unique opportunity today because our board of directors has put up a $50,000 challenge grant. Every dollar is going to be matched dollar for dollar up to $50,000. So please take advantage of that today. And the other thing I'm going to say is this. Because of our pro bono partners, which we didn't really talk about that much, a little bit we did.
Well, the lawyers that got her emancipated.
That's right.
And the lawyers that fixed all of her
You're
benefit
exactly right.
struggles. Yeah.
So because of our pro bono model, every dollar that's given to us is really leveraged with $11 of service from our pro bono partners. So it's really an incredibly efficient and effective organization, obviously because of our pro bono model and our pro bono partners. So thank you for watching. I want to thank the three of you for being here today and sharing your stories, Yanni and Alexis, and Mara, of course, our great hero. Thank you for putting this together.
Thank you, dude.
All right. Thanks all for watching.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.